Our world is a very complex system. Each individual here deserves to get an equal chance to develop into his best possible version. The systems here are designed in such a way that they don't suit the needs of some individuals. It's probably easy for us to survive in such a complex system because we understand the grey areas in here. But for those differently wired ones, it's a daunting task. Yes, the differently wired, or commonly known as person with autism or person on the spectrum. So what is autism? How does the world look like to the ones with autism? What efforts are they taking to fit in? And lastly, are we doing enough to carve a place for them in this complex system?
It's a child with different responses is what autism is. So in a simple term. So if you have come across a person who would react absolutely okay or controlled and switching on the fan to the full speed, our kids might respond totally different.
I mean, people with autism are, I think, the most genuine people without any malice or a negative thought about others. Whatever communication they have, it may be non-verbal, it may be verbal, but it is with utmost truth because there's no lies in autism.
It's probably difficult to understand autism unless you meet or see a person who is differently wired. So at Aarambh Foundation, let's meet some students with autism who are being taught important life skills that will help them in their future.
Shinde is a happy child and normally a very caring child. He loves sports activities. Physically, he is quite fit and agile. Music is something he really loves. He can play the piano pretty well. So we have a teacher for him. So this should be something which he could enjoy and be with himself.
When Sandeep came, a boy who has non-verbal autism and with very minimal, behavioral difficulty. So he was very adjusting in the initial phase. As the age grew, we saw a sudden spurt in change in behaviors, change in the expression, being more aggressive towards the teacher or the facilitator who's there, because when they are unable to understand him.
Over a period of time, Shandeep started responding to various methods used by the trainers to build a communication pattern. Even though the triggers to his behavioral changes are not fully known yet, effective communication strategies and patience in understanding Shandeep's unique way of interaction is making his life easier.
So he has a lot of difficulty in pointing to a picture exactly on the same space, and that is very common with children with autism. They do plan to keep their hand on a certain thing, but it doesn't go right onto that space. It moves a little here there. When we made a breakthrough that he could read, so he was able to circle the answers. So when we would ask him, would you like to talk to us, so he could answer yes and no, yes and no.
The school's vision of creating an inclusive environment for children with autism is a well-equipped plan with a long-term perspective of a child's development. To understand it, let us deep dive and explore the school that is slowly making its presence felt in Bengaluru through a transparent and a warm approach at teaching life skills to children on the spectrum.
Many of our kids are not able to pass our so-called norms of 10th grade or 12th grade or graduation system, but they are definitely capable of doing one skill very well, which is required in all streams of our day-to-day life. Now many companies take children who are under PWD, but still they look for the graduation certificates. So Aarambh aims at, without that, if we teach our kids one skill set, which is as per their capacity and capability, we can train them, and that can get included in anywhere, is what the Aarambh's aim is, the inclusion.
अरे यार ছিল তার নাম ছিল উড়তে 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 মাঝে গিয়ে পড়লো।
Aarambh Foundation functions in a very transparent way so that the parents are aware about their child's progress at each step. The concept of closed door training is something they don't believe in, and it has helped them in winning the trust of the child's parents.
I approached Anita ma'am. I just got to know from my neighbor that there have a, like, you can just go and talk to them and they are really good in dealing with autistic kids. Best part is she always kept me in front of her and she told me how to behave, how to talk, how you understand her. When we start understanding a normal person also, you know each other better. So imagine if we don't understand a child who is having so much of difficulty in expression. She opened up many those blockages what all I had in my head.
Parents have all the right and to come and observe the sessions, give feedback for us in on a day-to-day manner, or on through email or in whichever way they want to give us feedback. They are also given complete plan for the next 2 to 3 months, that what will be the child's plan. Parents should be aware about what is happening with my child in this space. If the parent doesn't know what is happening, I think we're missing the whole point.
The programs at Aarambh Foundation are designed to counter the deficits or difficulties of children by utilizing their strengths. The programs further focus on building their capacity to make a difference in their day-to-day functioning.
Okay, the first program for adults is SHIL, which is a skill enhancement program for how to live their life independently and how can they sustain in the environment without their parents. So in this we have a 5-day program where 2 days we teach them cooking, where they go buy things which are required for that day cooking, come back to the school, do cutting, chopping, everything, cook, eat, clean up, and then they go home. They learn how to fold clothes, how to put a laundry, how to wash utensils, how to dust, how to do a basic mopping and cleaning, how to clean themselves, how to communicate their needs if they are not doing.
SHILP is the flagship program in which the children are trained to work on important life skills. At the same time, there are 3 supplementary programs which aim to solve issues with learning disability, speech delay, social interaction, and inclusion at regular schools. These programs are trying to set the children's boat in the right direction, but occasional storms can drift them away from the course altogether.
So Shriram is on the spectrum, again a very smart child. He has very good retention skills, very good receptive skills, but he just wants to try not to do things. Lot of resistance.
Sriram is one of the children who comes to Aarambh Foundation for training. When he joined the school, his weakness was that he couldn't sit at a place for more than 3 minutes.
I mean, he was the child who would just not sit. Hardly 3 minutes we started with. On the count of 10 seconds, let him go here and there, again bring him back. And from 3 minutes, now he can sit for 2 hours. Again, if it is object level, the results are very good. If it is at the fine motor, yes, it is difficult. Then after 2 years, we started focusing on communication. His ADL, the indication that he needs to go to the toilet, his shoe, wearing his shoes, wearing his own clothes, wearing his own pants, was one of the top priorities at that point of time, because it was really required for him. With him, again, I have got a complete parental support. So if I have told them that this I have started and you have to follow it at home, they have done it. And that makes a huge difference.
Only Sriram can tell us what goes behind those curious eyes that always look for something. His joyful laughter that has a hint of mischief is a sight for sore eyes. But for this wildflower to bloom, A constant flow of love and patience from those around him is essential. There are many factors that are at play when you have a family member on the spectrum. It's a long battle that often sucks the patience out of many. But again, in tough times, the family stands together and faces the challenges head on.
When a child is there, you have separate dreams for him. You have that, like, your peers or people around you, they compare marks of the kid, class of the kid. Accepting it that you can't compare in that way is difficult. That normal thing which we take for granted, suddenly letting go of it was very difficult. We were hesitant to take him outside, or maybe on certain occasions when we took him outside there was a problem, and then we were also afraid to take him further again. So now his social life is more limited. That is something I really regret, and I think I have failed him as a parent there. We also sought help from our both sets of parents so that they could come over whenever possible and be with us. We started also teaching him to stay alone. He got the important things which was needed, but we also had that quality of life, else it was very overwhelming.
His parents' acceptance was a key milestone in Shayandeep's journey towards becoming a new version of himself, which is supported by a robust structure at Aarambh Foundation. But like every journey, Shayandeep's was full of challenges that he had to face with the help of his loved ones.
Puberty is generally a difficult time for all, and for them it becomes all the more difficult because again the communication is affected, and whatever they're feeling inside, the feelings that they have, the emotions that they're going through are extreme in nature, and there's no outlet, there's no friendships, right? And whatever friendship is happening with the teacher, which is not really a good base. I'm not sure how to describe that, but I can make out that he is tensed, he's worried about it, and something is going on inside, and that can be seen on his face, and the movements, his body movements do show that kind of frenzied movements, like very fast and quick movements which happen, and the body, the face and everything is very tensed, so you can make out when he's getting into the emotional high.
Just like Shayandeep, many children on the spectrum are fighting an inner battle, but at the same time, they have to put up a fight with the society. Running a school for children with autism that teaches them life skills can be a daunting task. But the trainers at Aarambh Foundation gear up and face every challenge with the same passion, plenty of patience, and a lot of love for the children.
Sometimes our kids are in a bad mood, and if they're shouting, we get complaints saying that what is happening, why aren't they keeping quiet, is there anything wrong? There's nothing wrong actually, that child just need a time to settle down. Sometimes if our kids, 99% they don't misbehave or they don't show their negative behaviors in public, but in case if it is overwhelming for them and if they show tantrum, gathering of people makes it really worse. They are not the one who can go by the system of system of a ruler. They don't do that way. You have to deal differently with every child. Every child is different.
Like any other organization, Aarambh Foundation faces operational challenges at various levels. From managing the finances to creating awareness about autism, every single task has to be carried out efficiently in order to achieve the goals of the schools in a sustainable way.
There are not many training centers, so we don't get so many trained teachers coming out, so which is a problem with every institution or organization that's working in the area of special needs. And it is not a very cash-rich, industry. So it doesn't give you money so fast. So not many people want to get into it. At least young people don't want to really get into it.
India is still developing in terms of accepting children with autism, understanding children with autism, because they look absolutely fine, but they still have a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, this is not very visible unless it reaches or you spend a little more time with our kids. So there are many children with autism who are capable of doing mainstream schooling, but the way they learn is different, the way they express is different. But yes, it is difficult for the mainstream school teachers also to absorb one child with total different methodology. But we have to figure it out something so that they can be a part of that mainstream schooling, because they deserve it and they can do it.
Children with autism don't have much expectations, but their only hope is that people around them empathize and not give up on them. They try their best to fit in, but it's unfair to expect them to adapt everything from a normal world.
We won't be there forever trying to entertain him or play with him. So this is something very vital for me, that he should be able to be with himself and he should be able to live independently.
He tries to become independent in his own ways. That is very good. So he will not seek out help if he doesn't need it. He's a person who can do quite a lot. He can do a lot of things. But yeah, we need to wait and give him time to settle down with that expectation.
It's quite early to predict Shindev's future, but nonetheless, as of today, he is responding to the training models and trying to understand the way of life. It's important for us to understand the world of autism, because collectively we can create an inclusive environment for people on the spectrum. With timely intervention, measurable goals, and technological assistance, we can support the differently wired in their journey.
We need to be empathetic and sensitive to everybody's needs and think that everybody is different in the end. We all don't come out in the same manner, we don't work in the same manner, we don't have the same aptitudes, we have different sensibilities, and we accommodate everybody. So why not accommodate somebody who is diagnosed to be slightly different?
The ability to bounce back from defeats or to survive in the most difficult of the conditions is something we humans can pull off, but often we seek support while facing these challenges. By supporting children and adults with autism in creating a space for themselves in the complex system, Aarambh Foundation is setting a great example of contributing towards an inclusive society.